Coming up on Carolina Week, it's the biggest fundraiser in North Carolina's history. UNC hopes to bring in millions to make improvements on campus and inside the classroom.
What it's like to be a refugee, the struggle and experiences of displaced people from around the globe are displayed right here in Chapel Hill.
100 years, 5 generations, and 1 unique cherry taste. We give you a look into the history of Cheerwine, one of the oldest family-owned soft drink businesses in the country. All of that and more, Carolina Week
starts right now.
From the UNC School of Media and Journalism, covering Carolina in HD, this is Carolina Week.
$4.25 billion. That's the amount that UNC wants to raise. Good evening, I'm Anne Marie Haggerty.
And I'm Donnie Holloway. It costs about $2.4 billion a year to keep the university running, but that budget isn't always enough to keep the university growing. UNC has just launched a new campaign to raise private money to fund everything from new professors to new buildings. From the steps of Wilson Library to South Building, it's likely that you've seen posters, balloons, and banners to celebrate the kickoff of the campaign for Carolina. Senior Ingrid Kotke is excited about the potential impact of the campaign. Kotke is president of the Student Friends of Ackland, which seeks to promote arts, education, and development.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about the money that might go to the Ackland because I've been so involved here.
Director of the Ackland Arts Museum, Katie Ziegler, agrees that the museum can use the additional funding.
We're hoping to, first of all, build a new building or an addition to the building that we've had for 60 years, which is very much filled to the gills. We are out of space for exhibiting permanent collection.
With the goal of raising $4.25 billion by 2022. The fundraiser is the largest of its kind in state history. So far, $1.75 billion have been raised. Chancellor Carol Folt on the campaign's objective.
The ambitions are very big and they are achievable.
And Kotke feels the Ackland is a second home, one that she's looking forward to seeing grow.
I felt excited by the opportunity for the Ackland to have a new place to showcase the art and one that might be more interactive for students.
There are lots of plans in place if UNC is able to bring in the donations it hopes for. Two of the big ones, a scholarship program to recruit top students and a professoriate program to recruit top university professors to the school.
The bell tower is one of the most iconic structures on UNC's campus, and if you were anywhere near it on Sunday afternoon, you're probably still talking about it. A driver who plowed in the hedges in front of the bell tower and then led police on a chase down South Road around 3:30 in the afternoon. No one was hurt, but the car destroyed multiple hedges. Witnesses say it was clear the driver was out of control.
On video. So the Mustang drove down here. He was going really fast and he slammed on his brakes, but he couldn't brake in time. And he kind of you could see where his car hit the sidewalk, but he kind of launched off the curb.
Police say they have arrested and charged the driver, but are not releasing his name. We reached out to them for more information, but they did not return our calls.
Today is a life-changing moment for many LGBTQ people. It's National Coming Out Day. And here at Carolina, the LGBTQ Center is hosting an event in the pit. Reporter Emily Padula joins us live from the pit with more on this story. Emily?
Donnie, the sun may be going in and out today, but rainbow was out in full effect for National Coming Out Day. Today marks the 30th anniversary of the National Walk for Lesbian and Gay Rights. UNC's LGBTQ community hosted a celebration in the pit with cake, props, and a rainbow door photo shoot. Students took to a wall of colorful post-its sharing their coming out experiences. Notes like these showed family reactions. I spoke with one student about the personal significance of this day.
It means feeling more accepted in a place that already feels like home. So it's like I'm able to be a more authentic version of myself.
The day of celebration continues until 8 p.m. tonight with an open mic night at the LGBTQ Center on South Campus. Donnie?
Right, Emily Padula reporting live from the pit. Thanks, Emily.
Now on to healthcare news. The future of the American Health Care Act remains uncertain, but patients with diabetes, both insured and uninsured, are dealing with rising insulin costs that can change the way they live their daily lives. Reporter Lydia Davis has that story.
PhD student Trevor Bell has type 1 diabetes, but managing his condition isn't so tough with an around-the-clock helper. This is Splenda. She's Bell's service dog, trained under Carborough's ears, eyes, nose, and paws program to detect fluctuations in blood sugar. Splenda will let him know when something's not right. She'll give him a nudge, like this. Bell says he considers himself lucky now with Splenda and his healthcare coverage at UNC.
At my old job, our insurance company didn't cover the type of insulin that I needed. They had a different brand, and the different brand didn't work on me. So I was forced to have to pay $140 a vial of insulin, and a vial lasts me like a month.
Just in the past decade, insulin costs have risen by 240%.
There's like 4 main insulin manufacturers, and there's no generic product on the market. So, you know, these people aren't competing against anything.
Pharmacist and diabetes educator Rachel Sellinger said the high cost of insulin can cause those uninsured to turn to often unsafe alternatives.
So a lot of people end up using much older, less beneficial types of insulin.
Sellinger says that research is getting closer to a cure.
And I feel like there is a lot of movement on trying to figure out how to prevent diabetes, both type 1 and type 2, and how to go about treating it in a way that's not as time consuming.
Bell says he's also hopeful for a cure one day, but that he also has some doubts based on what he's seen.
If you look at advocacy organizations for diabetes, like the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, the American Diabetes Association, you look at their main sponsors and the people who contribute most to their research, a lot of them are the insulin companies.
As for now, Bell says he knows he can always rely on Splenda. In Chapel Hill, I'm Lydia Davis, reporting.
Regardless of what happens to healthcare in America, patients with diabetes are still subject to changes in coverage. Bell says he had to choose a graduate school based on the type of healthcare they offered.
It's out with the old and in with the new for parking meters in Chapel Hill. The town bought new parking meters for about $400,000 to go downtown. The new meters are parking spot specific. The first one is stationed at the 140 West Deck on Rosemary Street. The last parking meter overhaul was in 2010, so Chapel Hill Mayor Pam Heminger said it was time for an upgrade.
So we wanted to go with a meter that was more user-friendly, that would work well with our system and give people the opportunity to have a better app. It has a great app so you can figure out what's going on. We did move from 2-hour parking to 3-hour parking on the streets because we want people to come and stay and not get frustrated.
The mayor says the cost of the new meters came out of the city's general parking fund.
It happens. Sometimes college students find themselves in need of legal help. So what should they do? As reporter Alyssa Tu shows us, a free resource lies right at the center of campus.
Landlord-tenant disputes, drinking and traffic citations, even domestic violence issues are a few of the concerns that UNC's Student Legal Services can help with. But it's a resource many students have never heard of.
So have you ever heard of Student Legal Services?
No, I have not.
So have you ever heard of Student Legal Services here on campus?
I got a flyer, but that's about it, so yeah.
So have you heard of Student Legal Services?
No, actually I haven't.
Attorney Tristan Ruth explained the legal resources available to students.
We're open to any full-time student, whether they're graduate, undergraduate, professional student, and it's all funded by student fees, so it's automatically included when you come to Carolina. It costs nothing extra to use our services, and we're basically just a general practice law firm on campus to assist students with any legal needs or answer any legal questions they have.
And those legal needs include both criminal and civil concerns.
Students are out on their own for the first time when they're in college. They're away from mom and dad. It's a lot of responsibility and a lot of freedom all at once. And sometimes they don't know how to necessarily deal with some of the issues that face them. So we're there as a resource to help with those, to advise on those, and even represent students in certain cases.
Additionally, students should remember to bring all documents relevant to their case. Reporting for Carolina Week in Chapel Hill, I'm Alyssa Tu.
Appointments for Student Legal Services can be made by phone, email, and they even take walk-ins.
Artists are giving locals a glimpse of what it's like to be a refugee.
That story and more coming up next.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
$65 million. That's the number of refugees currently living across our globe.
Reporter Samantha Schneider took a trip to one place in Chapel Hill where these millions are being recognized.
These are the faces of the millions of displaced people in the world. UNC's Friday Center is featuring them in their latest exhibit, Refugee. It's here the center shares photos and stories from over 100 refugees. Jack Rodenfels is the assistant director of marketing for Refugee.
People who are coming to this exhibit kind of get the full spectrum of emotion.
This is a traveling exhibit and has 125 photos from 5 international photographers. Their work features refugees from Asia, Central and South America, Ukraine, Africa, and Europe.
One that really is important to me is the story of a young 12-year-old girl.
Her name is Hannah. She's a Syrian refugee living in Lebanon. Every day, she works 10 hours picking fruits and vegetables in the field to earn $5. But Rodenfeld says it doesn't just show her struggle to provide for her family.
I also like in the series of photographs that it shows her being a kid. She's jumping off the side of a riverbank into a river, and she's looking into a mirror and combing her hair.
You can also find a documentary. It shows photographers like Lindsay Adario documenting Myanmar and the Rohingya Muslims after war.
By coming here, you can get a better understanding of what a refugee life is.
The exhibit will be open through November. In Chapel Hill, I'm Samantha Schneider reporting.
For the rest of the month, the Friday Center will be hosting a series of panel discussions and film screenings about the refugee crisis.
It's an ad for soap featuring a black woman transforming into a white woman that's got social media buzzing. Dove came under fire this weekend after Facebook ad caused an uproar on social media for its seemingly racist undertones. The beauty company issued an apology saying, quote, "It missed the mark." And it's not the first time. UNC media ethics professor Lois Boynton says lack of representation in the ad agency may be the real issue.
Individuals are not, or organizations are not taking into consideration who they are affecting. They don't have the right people at the table looking at these messages to say, you know, you got a problem with that.
Dove says the Facebook ad was only part of a longer video advertisement which features other races as well.
When it comes to diversity, fashion magazines are often criticized for their lack of representation. But there's one magazine on campus that's trying to challenge these beauty standards.
UNC's only fashion magazine, Couture, is preparing for this semester's 5th edition. In the office, members crowd the floor for their first meeting. But there's something different about this meeting. It's mostly filled with models.
This semester, our team grew from about 90 students to 180, and I would say about 50 of those applicants were models.
Couture accepts people of all different race, size, and sexuality. This is unlike what we see today in national fashion magazines. Over the past 3 decades, Vogue featured 5 times as many white models as minority models. Harper's Bazaar, 7 times as many.
It's not particularly surprising, I think, to women of color, particularly because there is a struggle for women of color to be represented, particularly when it comes to beauty brands, ranging from magazines to makeup lines.
Couture is supposed to be a space that encourages people to have a positive body image. But is it easy to do that when you're constantly surrounded by a community focused on the way you look?
The society that we've grown up here has taught us that fashion is not something where you can appreciate your body for what it is. And so I think our staff right now may see that as mutually exclusive, and a lot of people probably do, but it doesn't have to be that way.
It's hard to say whether challenging beauty standards will be enough to change the insecurities the overall fashion industry creates.
Oh, there's definitely room for improvement. I think because the majority of our student body is white, it's hard sometimes to get enough diverse models.
But the magazine will continue to strive for that diversity. In Chapel Hill, I'm Hannah Lee reporting.
Couture's next issue will be out December 1st. Aspiring models can audition for the magazine at the beginning of each semester. When Carolina Week returns, I'm only human after all.
It's been muggy outside this week, but will the week's humid weather continue? Meteorologist Alex Commit has the forecast.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm your meteorologist, Alex Commit. A couple of things that I want to talk about. I want to take a quick look at the tropics and talk about our seasonably warm weather and also a possible break in the humidity coming up soon. Quick look at the tropics. You can see that Ophelia is the only storm out in the Atlantic right now, and this is currently headed towards the Azores. But as far as the NHC is concerned, the National Hurricane Center, they are not expecting over the next 24 to 48 hours anything developing over the Atlantic or the Caribbean. And take a look at the expected rainfall forecast. We do have a little more rain left to go before we get into the drier weather, and you can see it clears out over the weekend, but a frontal boundary sets up, and that's what's going to bring us rain on Monday before we dry out on Tuesday, which will be a great time to take off and take a day to the fair. And you can see when we look at the surface map, here's the low pressure system that's pulling up that moisture from the Gulf and the Atlantic Ocean. This cold front is what's going to bring us the rain into Friday, and another frontal boundary is going to set up behind that and bring us rain into Monday. But after that, the dry air moves in. As you can see here, this is the humid air, and it moves out. These darker colors back here, these represent much drier weather. And you can see that as we go into Monday, this frontal boundary moves through, and behind that, that dry air starts to build in and high pressure takes control. So we'll have more weather like we did a couple of weeks ago instead of this wet, muggy stuff. Today, 85, or take a look at the radar, my bad. You can see that there's a few thunderstorms moving over the area right now just north of Chapel Hill and moving over Durham. A couple of these storms are capable of producing lightning, and this will probably move over or north of the Raleigh area within the next hour or so. If we bring it back home, 85 degrees right now with considerably cloudy skies, showers and thunderstorms possible throughout the rest of the day, and pretty much the same story. A few less clouds as we go into tonight, but we'll keep that chance of showers and thunderstorms as we drop down to 68 degrees. Tomorrow, it will be overcast all day long with 70 degrees on your way out the door at 8 a.m., warming up into the mid-70s by lunch, and then 77 for your commute home around 5 o'clock. For the football game, thankfully a little bit of fair weather finally coming back around. For your tailgate early, it'll be a comfortable 74, warming up to around 80 at kickoff, and then victory down to 73 with partly cloudy skies, which will hopefully keep it cool and not as hot throughout the game. If you're looking to get out of town for the weekend, you can see that for Wrightsville Beach, Saturday 81, overnight 68, and Sunday 83 with a very small chance of rain, so that's nice to think about. And then we take a look at the 5-day forecast. 80 degrees and overcast for tomorrow with 74 on Friday. That chance of rain moves through before it gets a little nice over the weekend. Sunday's looking pretty great, and then that last chance of rain moves through on Monday before we see a little bit of dry temperature or dry weather come in and make it a lot less humid.
Gotcha. It sounds like it's going to be a lot nicer. Just in time for the state fair. Are you headed over there?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to go and eat all the deep fried stuff.
You know, with that weather forecast, shorts in October, all for it. Thanks so much, Alex.
Fortunately, no fall gear yet, but
Not
at
quite.
least, yeah, at least drier temperatures.
Not quite as humid. Okay. Thanks, Alex. When Carolina Week returns,
the Bears made the switch to Mitch on Monday night.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Abby Presley. It was a big day Monday for a former Tar Heel. NFL second overall pick Mitchell Trubisky made his debut at quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Mr. Biscuit got his first start of rookie season Monday against the Vikings, and he kicked it off with a laser to receiver Kendall Wright. He was off to a good start, and in the fourth quarter, Trubisky used his athleticism as he scrambles out of the pocket, reads the coverage, and touchdown! Trubisky gets his first career TD. A Viking safety thinks he has the pick, but the ball says, "Get off me, little boy." Not bad for a rookie. During the two-point conversion, Trubisky hands off to the running back. Running back reverses to a tight end who, tosses to Mitch, who walks in for two. But his luck ends there. Mitch throws an ill-advised short pass with 2 minutes left and is picked off as his first game ends with an L. The current football team got some bad news this past week, and it has nothing to do with injuries. Four-star quarterback Tyler Shuck has decommitted from Carolina and will be taking his talents to Oregon to join the Ducks. The four-star QB from Arizona was rated as the number 10 pro-style quarterback by 24/7 Sports, and this means Carolina's quarterback position is firmly in Chaz Surratt's hands. And if you thought injuries were taking a toll on the football team only, think again. Destiny Walker tells us concussions have the volleyball team changing its lineup almost every week.
Carolina women's volleyball now has a record of 7-7. If you were tuned into last season, you know this is a complete 180. The record might be due in part to the absence of two key players.
Honestly, losing Julia and Mariah has made the team work through a lot of growing pains, and some things where you would just be adding a few different pieces. We're adding multiple different pieces this year.
Holly Carlton, who is a redshirt freshman, has started every match and has been
significant in her development. She's now played 6 matches in her career, and she's just going to get nothing but better every time she steps foot on the court.
Carlton hasn't been the only freshman to give the Tar Heels an extra boost.
We also have other redshirt freshman in Catherine Esterly, who's been starting the last 2 matches, has done great, played 2 and has given us really solid blocking, and we're anticipating her doing a great job.
Coach Segula and the team are doing their best to maintain a positive mindset in the face of their recent adversity.
We're hoping that they'll get healthy and heal and be available later on. It's wait and see. We do certainly miss them both. They're great players who've been an ACC Player of the Year and a full-time starter from last year. We hope that they'll be healthy, most importantly.
Despite key players being out right now, the Tar Heels are hopeful in seeing what the rest of the season will bring. I'm Destiny Walker, reporting.
The team next returns to the court Friday at 5 in the Smith Center against Virginia Tech.
All right, Abby, always bringing us the latest with sports. Thanks. And when Carolina Week returns,
a North Carolina staple is celebrating a century of cheer.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education. What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts. Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
if you've grown up in North Carolina, you've probably heard of that cheap, sweet cherry soda born in the nearby town of Salisbury. That's right, I'm talking about Cheerwine.
And Peyton Walker tells us just how special the soft drink is and why it's having a very special year.
There's one thing nearly every store in Salisbury takes pride in selling: Cheerwine. The small town is the birthplace of the soda, born 1 century ago this year. It's special because of its unique cherry taste and because Cheerwine holds the title as one of the oldest family-run soda businesses in the country.
Cheerwine was started by my great-great-grandfather, L.D. Peeler. He was distributing a beverage called mint cola. During World War I, there was a sugar shortage, so mint cola actually went out of business. And so by experimenting with different flavors, he invented Cheerwine.
They pretty much stayed right in the Piedmont of North Carolina, and then they started expanding into Rock Hill, South Carolina, and Danville, Virginia, I believe, and Johnson City, Tennessee.
And this expansion has continued.
Definitely seeing a little bit more activity. I'll get a text from my sister in Seattle with a bottle of Cheerwine, and hopefully it'll turn into huge growth for us and increase in volume here at this plant.
You can now sip Cheerwine in any state in the country. That makes people in the city of 34,000 proud.
Salisbury's been so supportive over this past 100 years, and our fans really have taken ownership of the brand and are proud that Cheerwine's from their hometown.
One place where you'll find these proud Salisbury residents is at Haps, a local grill where you can get a juicy burger and wash it down with that ice-cold, cheerful-tasting beverage.
It just hits the spot, effervescent, that cherry flavor, just love it. 100 years, it's got something.
I've grown up in North Carolina my whole life, and I've actually never had a Cheerwine, so you all are getting to witness my first taste. Wow, really does put a smile on your face. Here in the Legends hometown of Salisbury, I'm Peyton Walker reporting.
All right, and that Cheerwine, it's so good. You know, I heard that at the State Fair they have a Cheerwine funnel cake. Would you want to try that?
That sounds right up my alley. I like anything fried, and funnel cake is one of my favorites.
Let's go.
We can go with Alex with the great weather that we have.
Yeah, we'll make a trip out of it. Hope to see some of you all there. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.